is Kenny, my baby. I love everything about her, from the accent headlights here to the way it just swooshes out with the clean lines, to the onyx grille, to the classic Kenworth logo, to the fact that it has hood mirrors and that they're chrome. The paint job, the way that it rides, everything about it. Speaking of the way that it rides, this is one of the most comfortable trucks I've ever driven. The suspension system on this truck is insane. Shock absorber, air suspension, and that's just for the front tires, the front axle. There's even more in the rear axles. Now, this is a pretty long truck, which means that the steering radius is a pain. But because Kenny seems to have a longer wheelbase, at least it feels like it to me when I drive it, it's a lot more stable. Like, if you go over a pothole in this truck, you're hardly gonna feel it. Which, when your job is to drive for 10 hours a day across the country, the ride quality is really important. This is what the inside of a 2024 Kenworth T680 100th anniversary edition looks like. And I just got this for it. This is the BGE RV Aspen 40 Pro. The cool thing about it is that each compartment can be set as its own separate temperature. So let's say I want to set this compartment, the small compartment, as the fridge at 32 degrees. Just do that, leave it there, and it will be set at 32 degrees. Let's say if I want this compartment to be the freezer, I'll set it at 0 degrees, and it'll cool down to 0. That alone is a game changer, because I ended up paying $650 for mine, and it didn't even have that feature. This Aspen 40 Pro by BGE RV is way less than that. It has these carrying cases so that way you can easily access your food. Plus, it helps prevent your food from sticking to the sidewalls here. And in this compartment, I keep my secret stash of ice cream bars. It even has this mode that allows you to switch from max power to eco. I like to put it on eco mode while I'm parked overnight, so that way I don't run the risk of draining all the batteries and having to call for a jump start in the morning. That is a very useful feature. I especially like it because it helps me eat healthy while on the road. Instead of going in a truck stop and eating junk food, I can store my freshly cooked healthy meals all in here. Speaking of power, BGE RV actually sells a portable power station that you can put here, and now you have a working fridge everywhere you go. If you buy the portable power station for this, then that'll give you a lot more options. Because now you can take this on your boat for that fishing trip. You can put this in your tent for that camping trip. You could bring this to the beach with you all day if you wanted to. And you won't have to worry about a disgusting puddle forming at the bottom of your cooler, which ruins all your food. Look, I don't think you understand how great the Aspen 40 Pro by BGE RV really is. Wheels, portable power station, dual temperature, 2 ways to carry. You can even charge your phone from it, and it looks awesome. You can get this, the Aspen 40 Pro, at BGERV.com. So one really big difference between the Freightliners and this Kenworth is these cubbies here. I remember in the Freightliner, like these compartments, they had like a lid to them. They're like this, kind of. And they would close down like that. And also they were a lot deeper. Like right now, like this is, it's maybe like that deep. There's really not a lot of storage in there. But I think I think in part of that, it's because of the way that the windshield is designed in the Kenworths versus the Freightliners. I've noticed in the Freightliners, they're a lot more narrow, but they're wider. They run across more. Whereas the Kenworth is more, I guess, less wide, and then but taller. In here is, I keep like all my medicines and stuff in here, just in case if I get sick on the road, having some cold medicine, just all that's really good to have. A first aid kit, really important to have, because you never know where you're gonna be in the country. And then over in this compartment, I just keep a bunch of paperwork, my vest right here, which is actually light up and it's made out of mesh, so it's really breathable. You can get it, link in description if you're interested. Alright, now let's move on to the switches. The first one here is the dome light. And that switch is just used to help you see whenever you hook up the air lines to the trailer that would be here at night. And then this switch here is a dimmer for this. This controls the lights up here. It also turns on the, it has some cool red lights on there. I like to keep them both on. This is actually like a pre-trip switch. Like if I turn it, it'll do a 13-point check of the battery, the engine, the coolant, the transmission, everything for me. And all I gotta do is hit that switch and just stay in the truck. It's awesome. This, I believe, is a trailer brake, clamshell trailer brake. I never use that, ever. This is used to turn on the fan in the engine, cool the engine down. This is traction control. I've used that before to like to get out of snow, and like, or maybe like you're stuck like in a well and then like some dirt and gravel lot that's not paved. Sometimes the chippers and receivers, the warehouses are like that. I just flip that switch and yeah, I just get out of that. This is the hill assist. So what that means is, let's say I'm on a hill, and on top of the hill there's a stop sign. If I take my foot off the brake, this hill stop will hold me in place and will prevent me from rolling backwards. So like, say if I go from like a stop position and all of a sudden my foot's off the brake and I have to go into go position into the onto the gas pedal, in that moment, in that switch, this is what's holding it in place and preventing me from rolling back. These, I believe these are just dummy switches. They don't do anything. I guess those are options, additional options that you can put on there, but we just didn't, so they're just dummy switches. This does the regen, disables the regen, which I believe a regen, it doesn't it like burn off all the soot in the engine or something? Some smoke gets caught in the engine and this burns it off, so that way you don't have it in the engine. It's something along those lines. This, behind this, is an auto start switch. So if I turn the truck off, okay. Let's turn the truck off. We'll flip this switch. Look at here. Enabling auto start. So with that on, that helps me save a lot on fuel. Because it also saves my battery. The truck will only run, when that switch is enabled, the truck will only run when this battery voltage drains to about, I think, 11.8 volts. So once the battery drains to that level, the truck will automatically send its signals to its computer. Hey, we're running low on juice. Start the engine, kick on the alternator, recharge the batteries. And it's also great because I can keep the AC on right here, coming out of there, without running the loud engine. That's honestly one of the best switches invented. This dumps the airbags in the truck. So what that does is that deflates these bags here. You see how it's lowering? The whole thing's lowering. So that way, when I'm hooked up to a trailer, right here, the trailer would be like right here, and I'm sliding out from underneath it, I'm able to first get lower than the trailer and then pull out, whereas staying the same height, and then my skid plate would just be skidding across this whole metal plate, and you just don't want that damage. You don't want to damage your truck. I love this truck. You know, anything that I can do to not damage it and keep it looking amazing, like I'm gonna do. This button is a rear lock differential. You see the four back tires? It locks those in place while leaving the front two steer tires loose. A lot of truckers say it's not four-wheel drive, but to make it easy for me to understand, I say it's four-wheel drive, like for a semi-truck, but technically it's not, but that's an easy way to understand it. This switch, this has like a lid to it. That's the actual switch. And that will actually release the kingpin, which is, I don't know if you saw that knob that was under the trailer, hanging from the bottom of the trailer. There's a lock that grabs that knob so that we stay attached to the trailer. This switch right here detaches. It unlocks it. This, I hate when I have to do this switch, man. I hate it. It's such a pain. But this is to slide the whole fifth wheel. It's to slide this thing right here. You see all these notches? Can you see that? These are three little hooks that go into these notches here. This whole thing can slide forward all the way up to this notch or back all the way up to this notch. And that holds the trailer in place. So either I can have the trailer really, really close to the front of the truck or really, really far in the truck, really anywhere in between. I like to keep it here just to keep it. I found like that spot, I think it's like the 7th hole or something for a Kenworth. It usually keeps all the weight of whatever they put in the trailer evenly distributed across the truck. And these are the gauges. Right there, we got everything. Honestly, I have no idea what they do, dude. Like, honestly, like, you could tell me, you'd have a better understanding of what they do than I do. I don't know. I don't know. Now, moving on to the steering wheel. I love this steering wheel. It's like, the stitching on it is all red because it's a custom 100th anniversary edition. It's nice and thick. I love it. This is where you can set your cruise control. This controls the, like what speed you want to cruise control on. This will turn it on, this will turn it off. This is skip button, reverse, mute button if you want to mute music, volume button. This is the air horn. I love it. And then you have these. These are custom seats. Again, this is the Kenworth 100th anniversary edition. And so it came with these seats. These seats, the best feature is that this switch, it's cooled and heated across this part. It's amazing. It's so useful. It's so useful. When your job is literally to sit in that chair 10 hours a day, having that feature, game changer. Okay, moving to the back. This is like a dorm style fridge freezer here. This is company installed. It didn't come with the truck or anything, and that's just something that GP does for their drivers. There's a microwave. I'll just take this bar out. It'll open. This bar is basically to prevent the microwave from coming out and hitting me in the face while I'm going over potholes somewhere and driving. This bar is very important. Up there's just extra storage. I just put random stuff up there. Right now it's usually where I put my dirty laundry. This is my closet, which actually for a semi-truck it's pretty good size. Just have everything in there, and surprisingly it came with a mirror. Usually the closets in semi-trucks, for whatever reason, they don't have mirrors. I don't know why. So that's a big thing for the trucking world. And then this is just extra storage, more food stuff, more like bars and everything, granola bars, which I like to load up on them and put them eat them while I'm driving up here. I usually put them up here. Or sometimes I can put them up here, but then they kind of get smushed in there, so I just put them up here. Just have a little snack while I'm driving, you know. This panel back here. Oh, this thing. I didn't turn on these lights. These are just extra lights right here. This, like you saw earlier, is the AC for that. Only when the auto start switch is enabled. But when the truck is running, you use these things. You can control the power level of it, and the temperature here. This actually locks the doors, which is pretty cool. That turns on a red light. Look at this, look at this. Which is cool when you're at night and like you don't want the bright white light to wake you up. You just turn on those. And it's sick. And it's awesome. This over here, what's special about the Kenworths, if I can fit, is that these windows, if you move this switch down, actually swing open. So like, we can like just be out here like chilling, you know? Or like if you want to move groceries inside, like instead of moving them in through the driver doors and passenger doors, if you have like something really big, just open this up and just throw it on the bed. And it just locks like that. Another window up here. This actually opens. You turn it, there's a little vent like that. But it's really hot right now. It's like, I think it's like 96 degrees or something. Let me go see. It is, oh dude, it is 96 degrees. Look at that. It's insanely hot. And look at that. I see how humid it is. The water on the mirror. It's insanely hot, dude. This is my bed. Yeah, it's just a bed. I love it. It's Nectar mattress, the best mattress I've gotten. This is actually a top bunk. I'm about to get squished. Okay. So, if anyone sleeps up here, which I never let anyone else in the truck because it's such a small space, but like you would put your foot on there and then you just climb up here. I don't know why these weren't open. Oh, because they have extra vents up there. Wow. This is a totally different view from a semi-truck. This is crazy. And this net right here actually has buckles on it. Right there. That buckle, there's some buckles in here. You just buckle it in, just lie down here, you buckle yourself in, so that way you don't end up falling down there. Which happens. And that's pretty much everything. There's really nothing else to show. Well, maybe these curtains actually, to like go across like this, so that way at night no one can see in. And then I have another set over here. Well, I gotta drop this down though, the visor. And then yeah, it's just nice and just cozy in here now. I gotta go to bed. I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow.